Here's how I define the following two terms. Friendship, a bond that is built on similar basic values and opinions, tastes and circumstances, which once made it tough to break. A bond where cracking senseless jokes or giving horrendous views on something is not looked down upon with a pair of judgmental eyes. A bond that makes the daily mundane tasks a lot easier to pass with them by your side. A bond that makes you laugh with you and cry beside you. Basically, making life a lot more fun than it was before, but which involves a bit of drama and promises and arguments that come along its way. Love. A feeling of being in long state of bliss and joy with absolute insanity unmatched with the feeling of anything else. A feeling of extreme elatedness to everything you do or say, discovering your new self you thought never existed before, making you hopeful and possessive and hate yourself and love the other person like nobody else. Basically, making life a happier and much more meaningful place to live in, but which involves a lot of drama and commitments and compromises and complications. And I think we've all been taught right from the beginning, more so implicitly than in any other way, to make that distinction. Not in school, not by our parents, but just in and around us. There is that line drawn between the two. Anything below that line is friendship, and anything above is love. But what if there is a gap within that line? What if there is another line? A line we haven't been taught in school because it only comes through experience. A line which is filled with excitement and up for disappointment because it can go either way. A line that is potentially a security for the teeming heart, but honestly frustratingly confusing otherwise. And together, with that line and the line we are so fully aware of, together, they make the gap. Let's imagine yourself for a moment. You like philosophy, you like jazz, you like a lot of banter and some politically incorrect jokes. You like to argue and defend, judge and form opinions. You like movies and you like to talk about life. You like solitude, you like paragraphs and a full stop and a well-punctuated line. You've been misunderstood and unknown. You have 16 different personalities inside of you. You are moody and insecure, you're calculative and overthinking, you're selfish and confused, but most importantly, you are by yourself almost all the time. Not many understand you, including yourself. And it is tough to believe that there are other people like you in all corners of the world. But there is hope, there is a future with that hope turned into a reality. And every time that hope comes in the form of a classmate or a co-worker or a benchmate or a neighbor or a 10th grade maths teacher or a stranger in a massively packed Indian function, it triggers your over-calculative brain but mostly lightens your anxious heart. You talk to that person and enjoy the company. That person is funny and smart and contemplative and practical and so not your type but turning into one kind of person, yet insecure and doubtful and emotional and moody and a murderer of punctuations. What is this feeling? Is this friendship? Sure, but I've not felt the same way with any of my friends. Is this love? I don't think so. If it is it so easy to fall in love? Does it not have the weight and burden it carries anymore? When we talk about love and friendship, we are actually looking for another version of ourselves who are maybe more fun, more exciting, more attractive and less boring than we are. And in an ideal world, the two wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't matter how we labeled them. She could be a girlfriend or just a friend, and he could be a lover or like a brother, or tons of other generalist terms you could come up with. But our brain doesn't work that way. Evolution has taught us to categorize and organize and distinguish one from the other so as to have a better sense of judgment, so we don't end up getting lost or confused or hurt, or perhaps all three. And in this case, man, can you end up with all three. So I did a little exercise of my own and drew that line of categorization on a piece of paper, mentally, not really a fan of my present handwriting, and tried categorizing all the people I know above or below this line. Lover or friend. Turns out you have to be ferociously choosy when it comes to whom you call a lover. And how many? Because the maximum limit you can have is one. It's beautiful to see you love more than one person on your mental paper, but people call you a pervert for doing that in real life. So this line is so unfair, because if not many, there is at least one person who is just not my friend, but whom I don't love yet. Where do I put that? I put that in the gap. The gap between a close friendship and maybe true love, potential true love. I talk to that person about it and she agrees. And if two people agree, then it has to be made universally applicable, right? And yes, you can call this gap as boyfriends and girlfriends, but over the years, this term has been so overused that it has lost most of its meaning to me. I want, and forgive me for using such a sanctifying term, something pure. I want it to be pure, free of previous other meanings and commitments and opinions that come with it. The gap is perfect for me. The gap is where you can put all your questions and doubts and future hopes into a bucket. It happens when, after a slight moment of self introspection and long moments of trippings on feelings that blend between friendship and love, that person can stay there as long as you want to, as long as you think it can go either way. And this takes a lot of weight off my chest because I don't have to keep thinking what are we and where are we heading, because that state of confusion has now a label of its own. For people who love security but want a lot of enjoyment from taking calculative risks at the same time, who look at every decision they make in terms of payoff and returns on investments, basically me, this makes it a lot more easier to live and to love. So pick up a pen, a paper, or draw that line mentally wherever you want to and see if you have a gap. Talk to that gap. Don't shy away. Who knows, at best that person maybe feels the same way about you. And you can just invite me at your wedding 5 years from now for helping you do that. I'll only come during the lunch hours, I promise. And at worst, if that person doesn't feel the same way about you, it will make the phone call or that text conversation a bit awkward. And you might hate yourself for asking that question and ruining that relationship and end up living a sad and lonely life. So I don't really know whether asking is the best thing to do. Sounds good? Okay, bye now.